If you have ever visited Lady Freesia Forestwish at Tulipberry Cottage, you might remember a beautiful hand-carved wooden box brimming with awards and portraits. But Lady Freesia was never interested in fame or popularity. Her love for herbs was beyond all that, and her purpose was to help others with the gifts of nature. Sometimes her knowledge was a matter of life and death, but other times herbs were only an excuse, as on many occasions Lady Freesia would invite over unwell villagers for a cup of herbal tea, knowing that it was a bit of company that they really needed. So, if she wished for another award, it wouldn't have been for her, but for her beloved house, Tulipberry Cottage. Tulipberry Cottage was more than just a dwelling. For many, it was a haven, a house for encounters and laughter, a place where everyone was always welcome. No matter the season, Tulipberry Cottage was one of the most beautiful places. In spring, people will come to contemplate the hundreds of tulips and try Lady Freesia's lavender lemonade. In summer, villagers would queue to fill their baskets with rosemary and mint and other delicious herbs, while in autumn they would admire the apple trees and golden leaves and come inside to enjoy a cup of chamomile tea and a piece of pie. And during the frosty month, they would come back to sit down next to the fireplace and revel in the flavors of the winter pantry while admiring the snow falling down outside the window. Tulipberry Cottage was also a haven for Lady Freesia herself, where she spent hours with her herbs and books, with her embroideries and crafts, baking, sewing, dancing barefoot, and reading poetry by candlelight. It was also there where she received her friends Margot Petterplum and Stacey Yarrowby. But she wished she could do more at Tulipberry Cottage. She wished she could have an apprentice and more resources, and more people who learned the powers of herbs and the wisdom of the Animarchs. But that day wasn't a day to think about the things she hadn't achieved yet. It was a day of festivities, a day of joy and gratefulness, as it was the last day of the Festival of Summer Wonders in Meadowgrass Village. As the sun dipped below the horizon and the crackling flames cast a warm glow that danced to the rhythms of the folk music, the night sky twinkled with stars, inviting the villagers to abandon their tables and walk together to the Lake of Dreams for the final ceremony. As a senior member of the Council of the Valley, Lord Valerian, Mr. Crowharp and Mrs. Moon were getting ready for the speech, a group of approaching lights caught the attention of the residents. Once the lights had got closer, the carriage and the flags were unmistakable. The King and Queen of Norloch and her beautiful daughter Amelia had arrived in Meadowgrass Village. Princess Emilia was dressed in garments and accessories of all neighboring towns, and her hair was loose at the wind's mercy. The King and Queen of Norloch hurried up to apologize for the delay and interruption, and asked the Council of the Valley to carry on with the ceremony as planned. They mingled with the crowd, and after Lord Valerian concluded his words, the Queen stood up to speak. The royal family thanked the villagers for the invitation and requested to make a few announcements. First, they thanked Lady Frisia for saving their daughter's life and offered a special mention of Tulipberry Cottage and a generous donation for her to open schools wherever she considered it necessary. Then, they informed the fellow townsfolk that Norloch would cease to be a kingdom, and therefore Princess Emilia would no longer be their future queen, but a member of the Norloch Council. As a final announcement, the Queen ordered for the carriage chests to be emptied, and the gooseberry sweets, which until now had only been a delicacy for the royal family, to be shared among the villagers. As the celebrations drew to a close, the folk started the traditional ceremony on the banks of the Lake of Dreams. From a stone dish inlaid with precious stones from all the towns, the villagers took green leaves and, as if they were transferring their thoughts onto them, they whispered to them and passed them to other villagers to do the same. When they were ready, they placed the leaves on the lake and let them sail away, carrying their hopes and dreams into the universe. In Meadowgrass Village, summer celebrations were more than just a festive gathering. They were a testament to the villagers' appreciation for nature and their commitment to preserving the beauty of their countryside and the heritage of the region. And as the seasons changed, meadow grasses carried the spirit of their summer festivities within them, nurturing the love for nature and cherishing the unity they had found in their peaceful village. That night, Lady Frisia went to sleep with a smile on her face, for she knew that it was only the beginning of a journey, and that the princess's true adventure was about to unfold. And as Princess Emilia began walking the path that led to a life of purpose and the realization of her deepest dreams, what Lady Frisia didn't know was that more adventures together were yet to come.